Let's get started.
All right, everybody, and welcome to the Bonus Stage Podcast, episode number 28. Recording this on Friday, April 19th. Oh, my God. Seriously? Why?
What was that? Did you bite off your tongue halfway through that?
I think I might. Hey, my tongue is fat.
The part of Lloyd Hannison will be played by Helen Keller tonight on the bonus stage.
Jar Jar Binks, actually. That's what that was. Yeah, it's just, what the heck? Like, every single time. I've been doing this for 8 years, but every single time in the intro, I screw something up. Like, how is that possible?
Well, you know what? The most amount of car accidents usually happen when you're in an area that you travel a lot because you get complacent.
That's true. All right. Anyway, let's start this again. Hey, guys. Welcome. Bonus Stage Podcast, episode 28. Recording on Friday, April 19th, 2013. As always, I'm your host, Lloyd Hannison, and joining me, and apparently able to talk better than I can, Jeff Ward.
I was going to say, when you said, as always, I'm your host, Lloyd. Hoist, damn it! Oh no!
There you go.
Oh,
all right.
You know what? And now I can't. Woo! Now I can't say the joke. Now I can't say.
I feel good. I feel good.
Son of a bitch!
Vindicated.
Well, I am Jeff Ward, or what's left of him.
So, Jeff, how's it going? Other than the non-speaking, non-talking stuff.
It's going good. You know, don't intro me as the guy who can speak, because then it puts me on such a pedestal that I get nervous and now I can't speak. But it's going good. It's been a good week, and had a nice relaxing day today, and can't wait to get into this, what is actually turned out to be a massive show this week. I can't believe how much stuff we compiled over the last 5 days. The last couple shows have been pretty light, more or less. You know, a couple of really good conversations in the last few, but this one, just, you know, the amount of stuff we got to talk about today is daunting, to say the least. Yeah,
there's a lot of news.
Yeah.
Which is rare.
What do we got down here? Like almost 10 items or something like that? And it's pretty crazy. Some stuff we'll go over quicker than others, but
for sure, yeah, we're gonna breeze through some of it. But yeah, there's a lot of like real things to talk about, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, without further ado, let's get into this. Jeff, why don't you talk a little bit about what games you have been playing?
I've had quite a bit of time to play the video games this week, and the first one I won't talk about too much because I'm apparently going to be lynched if I talk too much about it. But I've been playing a ton of MLB 13, the show. I've been keeping up, essentially playing every game that the Jays play. Try to play it on the same day. So that I can kind of keep track with the team. However, my virtual team is doing significantly better. I haven't even lost a game yet, and we're, I believe, 13 or 14 games into the season. So that's a nice little change from the unfortunate, starting 20 of the season this year for the real Jays.
Yeah, they can't catch a break, man.
They can't. They really can't. But it's early, you know. It's early, and I'm not quite sure how much longer I can use that excuse before I start to get really frustrated.
I mean, haven't they played like what is it? Like 1/16 of the season already, and they've won three games. Is it 3 games?
No, they've won. They're 7-10 right now.
They've won 7.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It seems like a lot less because the ones that they've won are squeakers. You know, they'll win 3-1 or 4-3 or something.
Yeah, because I've been watching the scoreboards a little bit. Like I don't watch a lot of MLB. I watch a few games a year. I still pay attention to it, but for some reason I thought that they were on like a worse skid than they actually are.
Yeah, and I think that might be because the Jays have, I believe, lost 4 times this season in a blowout fashion. Today was a 9-4 win, and they've lost a couple
10,
times, and it was like,
10-0 just a little while
yeah,
ago.
some really, really bad
Yeah.
losses.
Yeah.
And that makes it seem a lot worse than it is.
Yes, Prometheus, they did lose to the Yankees today.
Yeah, they did.
I
And
watched
the
a part of
Yankees
that
are
game.
decimated. They've lost 4 of their great starters. You know, Jeter, A-Rod, Teixeira, and Cano, I believe, are all out. So I don't know what the
Yikes.
hell's going on with the Yankees, but
Yeah. Anyway,
they're still doing well.
let's move away from the baseball a little bit.
Yeah. So I've been playing that a ton on the PS Vita. Like I've said hundreds of times before in this show, at this point might be my only reason to keep that console around. I reviewed it on the Vita last week. Really, really enjoying the game, and I'm going to review it later on in the show for the PS3.
You're gonna review the differences between the two, right?
Yeah, I'm going to do a compare and contrast. I've had a ton more time with the PS3 version. I played quite a few games on that this week, so
Cool.
so stay tuned for that because I know you're all waiting for it. The other thing I've been doing a lot of, and I gotta think I'm like really near the end now, is Tomb Raider. I'm playing that on the Xbox 360. So like next week I'll do my review of it. I like it. I really do. I think it's a good game. There are some things that bother me a lot. I think the thing that bugs me the most is the tomb raiding that happens. It's optional, which is fine.
Yeah, it's not very good.
But like, you know, some of the puzzles are really interesting and some are just stupid. And then it doesn't matter what you do, you get to the end and it's just
Open a
junk
box.
that you find.
Yeah, open a box and get a map.
And it's funny because she always goes like, oh, right? And then
Yeah.
it's like, you just got some salvage.
Even better is she opens the chest and it's filled with gold and jewels.
Yeah,
And she takes the map and then goes about her business. Like, what, Laura? Do we have to teach you how to properly raid these tombs?
Yeah, I know it's your first go around here, but
I think she needs a little bit of work. That Lara Croft. So you haven't finished it yet, so you don't really want to talk too much about it. But what do you think of the of kind of the I can't kill anybody, and then then she's killing everybody. And they kind of cover it up with like one little tiny exposition where she says, "Yeah, I didn't realize how easy this would be." And then she basically decides to kill every single person that's moving, which I understand because they're all trying to hunt her. So it's kill or be killed.
yeah.
A lot of people are making such a huge deal about that, and it's like, dude, did you want the game to be 45 minutes? Like
Exactly. Where she just like kills one guy and then it's like, at the end, Lara Croft is now Lara Croft.
Totally. Like I there has to be game in the game for it to be sold as a game. So that didn't really bother me too much. One thing that I would really like to have seen is basically just have her use the bow, like have no access to no other weapons and just focus on the bow, because then you'd be forced to play it a little bit more stealthy and do kind of stealth kills and things, which would have been a lot more fun, and maybe that would have calmed a lot of whiny folk out there on the internet, which I hear on the internet people like to whine. I didn't know that. It's kind of bizarre, Jeff.
Yeah, they certainly do. I know that I am on the whinier side every once in a while in this show.
No.
Yeah, you know, every once in a while I kind of get into this mode where I bitch and complain and moan about a game.
Say it ain't so, Jeff. Come on.
Yeah, what's this? It's the important things in life, Lloyd. It's the important things in life. But yeah, you know what? I don't disagree with the people online because there is a serious disconnect between how she apparently acts at the beginning and then the vicious, unrelenting brutality that carries throughout. However, it's a game, you know, like you said.
It's longer than 45 minutes. So there you go.
And you know what? The actual combat itself really isn't all that interesting to me. The stuff that really ties the game well together is the platforming is really fantastic.
Yeah. The climbing, the going from one surface to another, like speeding at a wall at like 60 kilometers an hour, and then jumping off and slamming your pick into it. And it's just
pickaxe, yeah, that's awesome.
Like, I love this. I love.
And
this
then of
game.
course, like any set piece where it's just like, you know, a lot of people complain about this too. Believe it or not, they're like, there's too many QuickTime events, and you know, it's like, you know what? I don't really know how you would map that to a controller to make it understandable in the short amount of time you have to react without people dying again and again and again and again. I don't mind QuickTime events in those situations because really, I don't know what the hell else you would do with the controller in those situations. And they are absolutely mind-blowing. Some of these sequences are just outstanding stuff.
Yep.
And it's really, really exciting all the way through. But
Cool.
yeah, like
No,
I'll
I'm
go
glad.
through a lot more of my kind of, again, it's going to be nitpicky stuff, but yeah, I'm enjoying it, and I believe I'm, maybe an hour away from the end. So
That's cool.
I'm curious to see how they're going to tie this wacky story together at the end.
No, it's just I was looking into some of people's thoughts about Bioshock Infinite online. I mean, since I beat it, and I'm not obviously not going to ruin anything. And there's so many people that just bitch about the littlest things. Like it's almost as if they want to be the guy that bitches about something so that they have a greater inflated sense of self-worth or something. It's like,
Yeah.
well, I don't want to be the person that just likes everything. So I got to find these little niche kind of nitpicky things so I can be the guy that that is critical about stuff. And it's like, you know what? Like F off. Like that we don't need that. We don't need any more vitriol just for the sake of vitriol. Like we need people to give us their opinions and then do it. And that's it.
Yeah. And you know what? I do it too. Essentially, like when we're reviewing stuff, I try to be as critical as possible without being whiny, and a lot of times I cross that line, and then I listen back to the show and I go, and I was a little bit too harsh on this game for a reason that it couldn't really avoid.
Mm-hmm.
But in situations like that, if I'm gonna be nitpicky and super critical, I try to at least put myself in the developer's shoes and like, how else would you make this better? How else would you code it into a sense where it's going to translate into a better experience for the end user?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, I mean, I can't come up with an idea. Somebody much smarter than I is in charge of making those decisions, and they're
Right.
made that way for a reason.
And at the end of the day, you're playing a game. You're not playing a movie. You're not playing a book. You're not playing a short story. You're playing something that is supposed to basically take your attention away for 8 to 12 to 15 to 40 to 60 hours, depending on the type of game that you're playing. There's things that are done because they have to be done. There has to be some meat put in here. There's some filler. You can't just have filet and live off the filet. You have to have the baked potatoes and the grilled asparagus and vegetables along with it as well, and a salad. You need all that stuff to have a balanced meal.
Totally. This is a cooking show now.
Yeah, it is. So cooking with Lloyd, but you need all that stuff. And a lot of people just, a lot of people they're just negative for the sake of being negative, and it just drives me crazy. Like all the stuff I read about Bioshock Infinite, where people were just going off on little things, and it's okay for people to have different opinions. But
totally, yeah.
For people to hate stuff just for the sake of hating things, it's just like, why are you doing this? And then after Bioshock Infinite, I saw an article that was kind of relating some of the things that happened in Bioshock Infinite with Tomb Raider. And then I went down the whole rat hole of people that were finding all these faults with Tomb Raider. And it's just like, dudes, like this game is awesome. It is a great game. It has faults, but it is a great game. It's a great experience. It takes your it takes you away for 12 hours and you get to have fun. You get to live in another world. It takes place over like 2 or 3 days of in-game time. So just think of like, put yourself in her shoes. Like you arrive on this thing, you've never shot anything. You have to hunt. Next thing you know, people with semi-automatic machine guns and magic are trying to kill you. You would kind of do whatever you had to keep yourself alive. And the game shows that off. But yeah, there's so much nitpicking going on about that as well. So yeah. Anyway, that's enough of that. I'm really curious to see what you have to say about the game next week.
Yeah, and I'm excited to finish it, and it's definitely like already I can tell that I'm going to go back and play it again. I'm going to ask you this, and I don't think this would be a spoiler or anything, but if it's not, then just never mind. But is there a section in the game where it tells you, hey, this is the point of no return, and if you want to go back and explore the island, this is the time to do so?
Yep.
Okay, good, because I feel like I'm coming up on that point, and I've got a lot of stuff to go and backtrack for, but I've been so compelled by the set pieces and like, oh, how are they gonna do how are they gonna top that sequence? I want to see what's next. That I have been neglecting to do a lot of that stuff. So that's good. That's good that they give me a warning, because I always feel like if they don't, I get a little pissed off. I'm like, damn it, I kind of wish they broke the game, broke the fourth wall of the game a little bit to tell me that the end is coming.
Yeah, there's a part where it says there's no saves past this point. There's no camps past this point. So and it's like, okay, well, this is kind of the point of no return area.
That's cool. That's cool. So yeah, the last thing I was playing this week, and I played a ton of this game.
I saw your Facebook post. You're putting images up every other day or every other hour. Sorry.
So I was in elementary school in the 90s, and I think we might have been, one of the first kind of generations to have computers as in our, not in our classroom, but a computer lab in our school. And we were in there twice a week, sometimes three times a week, depending on the schedule.
Hmm.
And one of the games that we played a lot was this educational um, game called Cross Country Canada. And I can't even begin to tell you how much fondness I have for nostalgic purposes and just because I had a blast with it for this game. And I've been trying to find it forever. And it hasn't been out. You'd find like old bootlegs and they wouldn't work or they'd be corrupted. You'd unzip the DOS file and it would just be like a bunch of what I can't remember when you download a torrent. Sometimes they'll have these little tags in them that essentially find your IP and then send you a bunch of spam and shit. I can't remember what the hell they're called.
I'm not sure. I don't torrent.
Yeah, so
the Tony in the chat room, is it Canada's Oregon Trail? Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's what it is. So the game is you are the driver of an 18-wheel truck, and you have to drive across the country, and you have to pick up commodities, and the commodities more or less try to teach you about the trade industry in Canada. And you drive around the country, and you get hungry, so you eat, and you get tired, so you fall asleep, and you just take your commodities to a end point, and that's pretty much it. And the game, like, the most amount of commodities you can go pick up in game is 9, unless they give you bonus items, which sometimes they do. And I can play through 9 commodities in about a half hour. There's all these commands, so you have to, like, N will go north and so on and so forth. And, you have to say eat if you want to eat, or sleep in hotel if you want to sleep in a hotel. And the graphic user interface in this game is actually pretty amazing for an educational game. Mm-hmm. It's got the highway thing, and you've got this weird, like, kind of, I don't know, DOS noise of what a truck engine should be on the highway. And, sometimes your truck will just stop and you'll get a flat tire, or you'll run out of gas, so you have to get gas constantly. You can get outside of your truck and take a look at it, and you can get back in it. You have to, you put your seatbelt on, and they're like, oh, good for you for, obeying the traffic laws and stuff like that. You can even choose to speed, and if you get caught, the cops will pull you over and they'll give you a ticket. And it's just a really, like, nostalgic, fun time. And it's actually not a bad game. The only thing that is tough about it is finding reliable facts, FAQs, I should say, on the game, so that you can find out where the resources are, where the commodities are. Because the game will tell you your first commodity is copper, but it doesn't tell you where to get it, because the game came with an instructional manual which had all of the destinations you have to go to. So you go into your instructional manual and you'll find not only your commands, but you'll also find your destinations for your commodities. And I actually found a really reliable one on GameFAQs, believe it or not. Probably the most reliable fact sourcing site on the internet.
I've never heard of that before. It's
this new thing.
Yeah,
it's only been around for a decade or so. But yeah, it's a really fun game. I was playing it on. I have it listed as DOSBox here, but the actual DOSBox thing I was using was called Boxer. Man, it's just a ton of fun. Yeah, no, you cannot turn into Optimus Prime, unfortunately. It's a stupid game. It really is a stupid game, because it really doesn't teach you that much, if anything, other than to not pick up hitchhikers. I didn't even know this when I was a kid. If you're driving at night, sometimes a hitchhiker will show up on the road, and you can choose to pick up that hitchhiker. But before you do, the game says, picking up a hitchhiker can be dangerous. Are you sure? Y for yes, N for no. I always hit Y, didn't care. And then, when your next destination came up, the hitchhiker would, say thanks, and then he would leave. Nothing ever happened. But I was playing a few days ago, and the hitchhiker actually pulled a gun on me and stole one of my commodities. He made off with a truckload of cement, I don't know how, in between Fort McMurray, Alberta, and Red Deer. He just like appeared on the side of the highway about halfway through the trip, pulled a gun on me, stole cement, and took off. I didn't even know you could do that,
Wow.
and it was like, this is
And why would you steal cement? Like, that's just such an odd thing. They do things weird in Alberta, I guess.
Yeah, out of the things I had hogs, I had copper, and I had cement. And the guy's like, I'm taking the cement because I'm building a highway to my house or something. It was just insane. So it was this really weird thing, and I really enjoy the game. It's not for everybody. You know, you can find it actually pretty easily now. It's been a few years since I checked, so I was surprised to see it. But yeah, if you're interested in that game, you can pick it up. Just type in Cross Country Canada DOS game, and it's actually it's not a torrent. You can download it from a reputable site and play it to your heart's content. And if you do, send us an email, vgpodcast@gmail.com. Let me know what you think of it, because these educational games, some of them are actually real gems, and it's kind of weird to play an educational game I played when I was 5 or 6, now 20 years later, and like, actually this game isn't that bad. Like, it's actually pretty playable, and I'm having a blast. I've beaten it now maybe 15 times since I got it on Tuesday.
Awesome. Wow,
yeah,
that is such a weird little title to be spending time on, but that's awesome.
I know,
It's part of your childhood. That's a good thing.
It is.
Yeah.
What about you? Anything from your childhood on today's show?
Yeah, Borderlands 2. I remember I have fond memories of playing that, waking up and playing that one.
You skipped a lot of school to play that game, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. All the school. I skipped all school. Not much. I for some reason this week I picked up Borderlands 2 again. Do you remember we were talking about PlayStation Network had this thing where if you spend X number of dollars, like in March, they'd give you credits in April. So if you spend $50 in March, they give you a $10 credit in April.
Yes, I do remember that.
And I got my credit, and I got a $30 credit. So apparently I spent $150 in March, which is like, wow, I spent a lot of money in March.
Doesn't surprise me, but
yeah, it's just like, damn, I bought a few games. So I got that, and I was like, oh, what am I going to do with this money that's free and it's burning a hole in my pocket? And I remembered that they were, I guess, 2K and Gearbox was running the Borderlands sale, so you could buy the game for cheap, but they had all the DLC on for half price. So I ended up buying the first 3 DLCs, the Captain Scarlet and her Pirate Booty, Mr. Torg's Campaign of Carnage, and Sir Hammerlock's Big Game Hunt. I bought all those for $7.50 each, and I picked up the what is it called? The Ultimate Vault Hunters Upgrade Pack, which is the thing that raises the level cap from 51 to 61. So I was like, okay, cool. I downloaded them, and I was like, oh, well, I guess I should play the game. So I popped the game in, and I've actually been having a lot of fun playing through Borderlands 2 again. I started a Ultimate Vault Hunters mode, so super hard. You come around a corner. If you face more than 1 or 2 enemies, you're pretty much dead. So I'm sniping and lighting people on fire and doing stuff from afar, and it's been so much fun. I'm making my way through the first DLC pack, the Captain Scarlet and her Pirate Booty right now. I think I'm maybe about a third of the way through that content, maybe a little bit less, and just loving the game again. I don't know why I stopped playing it, because I didn't have a character that reached the level cap. So trying to get my main guy up to level cap right now, so that I can get to some of the bigger levels and be super powerful and game breaking, which is what they say happens when you get to level 61. So having a lot of fun with that. I might be playing this one for quite some time after this.
Borderlands, they've always done a really good job with their DLC. Even for the first one, I never played the game, but I heard that the first DLC,
a couple of them were
like
good.
The Zombie Island, was really fantastic.
Yeah,
and
the island
next
of
one after that,
Dr. Zed or whatever. They had other ones which were kind of throwaway, like Mad Moxie's. She had a Coliseum or a Thunderdome or whatever, where it's basically
Mad Max style.
Yeah, it's just like it's like a horde mode where they just send levels and levels of creatures at you, and it was just like,
that's never fun.
That's not. Sure, there was
it's fun, but
there's crazy amount of experience and weapons and money that you get from it, but it's just like, okay, there really is not much story for it.
And at that point, you've already reached the level cap anyway, right? So what the hell do you need the experience for?
Yeah, exactly. So having a lot of fun playing through Borderlands, so I'll probably be playing that one for a little while, so we'll see. And I've also been playing some stuff on iOS. I picked up TMT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Rooftop Run on my iPad, which is an auto runner set in the world of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoon. My kids love it, and I watch it with them, and I love it too. I'm a huge Turtles fan from way back, everything that they've done. So it's been pretty fun playing through this. I reviewed it on Touch of Gaming, so if you guys are interested in it, check out Touch of Gaming episode 134, I believe, which was just posted up today. And I gave my review of the game if you want to get a little more insight into that. And playing Simpsons Tapped Out still. Playing a lot of other things. I've been doing the sampling thing this week where I've been playing a lot of little iOS games for 5-10 minutes at a time and then moving on. So I'm catching up on a lot of the stuff that I've downloaded or things that dropped in price and stuff like that. But
that's what that device is so great for, right? I used to watch reviews on the run all the time, and Victor Lucas's favorite thing to say is, "Oh, you're just standing in line at the bank, and you pull out your iPhone and you play this great game." And it's, how often is this guy at the bank that he's playing so many iOS games? But it's a good point, often I'll go pick up Carly from work, and I'll be sitting in the parking lot. Great time to pick out my phone and play a little bit of whatever game, right? Mm-hmm. Just a few minutes at a time while you're waiting for something, dinner's cooking or whatever. You're trying to ignore someone. Great thing for that. And you just, kill some time.
That's why you're always on your phone when we're talking.
You're also extremely boring. So.
It all comes together. I know what you're doing now. It's great to get in there and just have little game appetizers and just play around with little things. Blue Jays on your phone.
Yeah.
I have Jets on my phone. I can show you that too if you want me to be cool as well.
Nice, do it. Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I'll be playing a game starting on Sunday, but we'll get into that when we talk about new releases, which is up right now. First up, Lego City Undercover, The Chase Begins, hits the 3DS on Sunday the 21st. So 2 days or a day and a bit, depending on what time it is. It's now almost, I guess it's 10:30 our time. So
yeah,
I think things hit the apps or hit the eShop at about 11 p.m. my time. So probably in about 24 hours, I'll be downloading this game and checking it out on my 3DS. So I can't wait for that. Got some other games though. Pandora's Tower hit the Wii. Talked about that a little bit on the Nintendo Pulse yesterday as well. So if you want to read more about that, you definitely download the latest Nintendo Pulse. Injustice: God Among Us hits all of the consoles, so Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and even the Wii U. Although
I believe it's also on the PC as well too, but I couldn't confirm that.
Sounds about right, but I'm not sure.
I think it might be, but I can't be 100% on that.
The Wii U is definitely the worst version of this to get. It's missing full chunks of content. Like when you go into the multiplayer system, there's usually a multiplayer lobby that you can practice and communicate and chat and stuff like that. The Wii U doesn't have it, and some other things, which is really kind of crappy. A developer has said that they're working on some patches. They didn't say what was going to be included in them, but hopefully that means that some of that stuff will be coming back. So if you're interested in this one, people are saying it's probably one of the best superhero-based fighters. It could be one of the better fighters to come out in the last little while. It's made by the Mortal Kombat crew, so they know a game. They did the DC Universe versus Mortal Kombat. They kind of know what they're doing, and
got a pretty good pedigree.
Yeah, and this is getting some really decent reviews. So if you're into fighting games, this might be one to check out.
I've heard really good things as well too. It's been one of those that has been on the radar of a lot of people for a long time. It's not up my alley because, quite frankly, I'm out of the fighting game kind of stint in my life. I really liked Street Fighter 4. I was doing this. This is my pantomime for Street Fighter 4, by the way.
Yeah,
for those of you
it's
watching
such a forgettable game too. It's such a little known, little independent fighter. So
yeah,
I could see where
I think it sold 100 copies worldwide.
So.
But yeah, I enjoy watching that actually quite a bit because the competitive circuit is so amazing to watch, especially if they've got a camera on the screen and also on the sticks that the guys are using, because that's really, really fantastic to watch.
Yeah.
But this game just looks cool. It's got that. You kind of want your friend to buy it so you can go over and play it for free. That's kind of what I'm thinking, But I know a lot of people who are gonna just eat this game up.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Cool. Next up is a game I will never play. It's called Victoria 2 Heart of Darkness. It's a PC game, and it is a really, really in-depth strategy political simulator. And it's just like I can't play those games anymore. But I know there's a lot of people that love that stuff and they eat it up. So if you're looking for a political turn-based strategy game, there you go. There's one.
If you've ever played Civilization and you strike a deal, a trade deal, or some sort of tariffs or some sort of war deal or something like that with a neighboring nation, and you're like, I wonder what that's like in a video game all to itself. This is basically
I want to do this for 8 hours.
Yeah, signing declarations and speaking with it's actually a pretty well-made game from what I hear. I will also never play it, but the concept kind of sounds interesting to me, I'll be honest. It sounds like one of those really slow, boring games that you don't want to tell anyone you play, but you play it and you enjoy it.
Yeah. Anyway, so there's that. Victoria 2, Heart of Darkness. Darkfall, Unholy Wars is hitting the PC as well. If that's a game you want to play, or if you want to check it out, you can do that one. Do you know much about that one? I don't.
You know what? When I put these games in on Tuesday when I was making the show notes, and I remember reading just a little bit about it. I believe it's an MMO.
Yeah.
Shocker.
That's the only thing I know about it, because their website is darkfallonline.com. It's like a PvP. I don't know. Is it free to play? I would assume it would be. Anyway, I don't know too much about that one. Actually, it says buy now, so I guess it isn't free to play. I'm going to buy it now. Wow, it's $40.
Probably no subscription fee, though.
That's the subscription, 30 days subscription. So it's a recurring subscription. Wow, this is like really late to the game, or to the party.
Yeah, I don't think you can get away with a model like that anymore.
Wow. Cool. I'm glad I found out about this. I'm going to have to do some more research to see what the heck this one is. Dishonored, the Knife of Dunwall DLC came out this week as well. And I've heard some good things about it. If you've played Dishonored and you wanted more Dishonored, check it out. I read a really interesting article about it, and a guy played through it in his normal like ADD crazy, look in every nook and cranny, pick up every coin, check every garbage can, do all that stuff. And it took him about 8 hours to get through one of the missions. And,
wow.
And there's a number of missions in this game. And then he went and said, I'm going to play it like a crazy man. And he basically flew through it, killing everybody, getting from start to finish. And it took him 10 minutes. So just like Dishonored, the game is what you make it. And it seems like this DLC is the same way. I played Dishonored. I don't think I'll be playing any of the DLC. I don't think it resonated with me as much as
I still haven't played it. Tom has been telling me, he's like, Jeff, you got to play this game.
Great.
And I'm
it's a great game, but I had my Dishonored fix, and that's really all that I need. So
yeah, and you know, like I will play it eventually, but I have other things on my list that take precedent.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I am. Apparently, Borderlands is taking precedent over that right now, which is kind of strange. A couple other games: Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner, Soul Hackers came out on the 3DS.
Yeah. So I believe they forgot a title in that one too. I believe there was another subtitle and several other hyphens and stuff.
Well, it's Shin Megami Tensei : Devil Summoner : Soul Hackers. So apparently they like colons when they name their games. So
actually, there's a hyphen between Devil Summoner and Soul Hackers.
Well, on your list, but on the official release, it's a colon.
Oh, I got it wrong.
Yeah, it's confusing. So anyway, if you want to play some more Shin Megami Tensei, check that one out. Shin Megami Tensei is also coming out later this year. Again, the next release, version number 4 or whatever the title for it is. I can't remember. So the 3DS is getting a lot of Shin Megami love this year on the 3DS, which is pretty cool.
Big audience for it.
Yeah, for sure. And then last but not least, Call of Duty Black Ops 2 with another thing, Call of Duty : Black Ops 2 : Uprising, which is the DLC pack that came out this week. And you're going to be talking about a little bit about it today.
In the review section. I'll actually, it'd be more of a preview because I haven't played it, but I've walked through it in depth with a bunch of videos, and
cool.
I'm going to talk about that after the break.
Awesome, man.
You know what? I got a quick question about Lego City Undercover, because
Sure.
I actually don't know anything about the 3DS game.
Okay.
So is this...
It's a prequel.
It's a prequel, okay. The Chase Begins would kind of suggest that.
Yeah, so this is you're Chase McCain.
Okay.
And you're a police officer in Lego City. And then in the Wii U version, you come back after being away for a couple of years, and the person that you put away has escaped from jail. and you have to go and hunt him down. In this game, the box art shows you and him back to back. So I guess this is probably how you catch him in the first place.
Cool.
So it's a full like world that you can explore and do stuff. I'm hearing some bubbling, some early reviews that are saying the load times are a little bit long, but I'm going to give it a benefit of the doubt. I'm buying it digitally, so I'm hoping that the load times will be even shorter because it is coming off of like it's stored, and maybe it's doing some things to load stuff in memory, like not just loading off of a cartridge or whatever. I mean, cartridges are pretty darn fast to begin with, and
That's
SD
true.
cards aren't any faster than the cartridges, but I'm hoping that maybe they do something weird where they're buffering things or something. So we'll see. I'll definitely be playing this one this weekend, and we'll chat about it next week on the show.
Yeah, because I really want to play the U Wii version. Stupid names of consoles. The Wii U version, but obviously I don't have one, so maybe this will be a good way to get into the franchise. Because I've heard, I mean, obviously from you and your glowing review of the Wii U version, I really want to play it. So this might be something I go and pick up as well next week. If
it's good, I'll give you the thumbs up or thumbs down as to whether you should buy it. It's $30, so it's actually a pretty cheap price as well.
That's a nice little buy right there.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. All right. Well, let's take a small little break. We'll do our normal random chip tune. Take a couple minute break, and then we'll be back with some reviews, and then get right into the news. So see you in a couple. Let's see. Do you think it's going to be a good one? Think it's going to be a good one?
I'm not going to take a roll the dice on that.
Let's see. All right. Started okay. We'll be back in a couple minutes, guys. Wow, that got intense really fast.
Started off a little bit weird,
Yeah.
but then it kind of picked up there.
That was cool. It sounded almost like they were playing like Galaxian or something. Like it sounded like it had some samples from that game or something. So yeah, bizarre. Jake Carguth in the chat room. Shin Megami is listed at $50.
Holy shoot!
But that's for the retail version because it comes with a bunch of stuff. If you buy the digital download, it is $39.99. So it's $40. But if you buy the retail version, it comes with a book and some other stuff as well, and that's why it's the extra $10. They basically
printing costs.
Yeah, they pretty much only have the collector's edition when you buy it retail, from what I understand.
Weird.
Yeah, the Tony Pac-Man sounded like it was in there too as well. That was a pretty cool tune. It was called Fractal Face by Did You.
I didn't.
So there you are. Did you?
I didn't.
You didn't?
I almost immediately regret making that stupid joke.
It was called Did You, and the group is called Fractal Face. So I got that wrong. So As you could tell, they're one is obviously the name of the group, and the other one's obviously the name of the band. So I'm sorry I got that wrong.
Seemed pretty obvious to me, Lloyd.
I'm sorry, Jeff. Yeah. I'm sorry, Jeff. All right, well,
so we're looking for a new co-host on the bonus stage. Lloyd's still going to produce the show, but
I'll sit here and push the buttons and sit sadly in the corner.
Yeah, just all. Oh, you guys are doing the show.
Mm-hmm. What's that, Jeff? Oh, you're breaking up. Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, I can't hear you anymore.
It's all your internet. Just get better internet. Bye.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. So, guys, baseball. I'm sorry. I know. Stop writing the show. Actually, you know what? If you really don't want to listen to me talk about baseball, actually write the show and let us know, because I know that a lot of people in the chat are just kidding around when they say it.
They're just breaking your balls.
Yeah, but if you actually don't want, to listen to me talking about baseball every week, because I'm going to talk about it quite a bit more, let me know, because I won't talk about it as much. Certainly not going to stop. But MLB 13, the show, reviewed it last week on the PS Vita. Really enjoyed the game. And I'm going to talk about the PS3 version today. Obviously, yeah, thanks, Lloyd. Obviously, the big difference in this game is the graphics. They're HD, they're crystal clear. Character models are really fantastic for the most part. All your big name guys that your average fan is going to recognize. Some of them are even, I would say, the spitting image. Like, it would be tough to tell them apart, but it was tough to tell them apart sometimes in MLB 12, the show. Mm-hmm. The difference in graphics really isn't that much improved. Lighting textures are a little bit smoother. The crowd animations are a little bit better, depending on how far you are away. Once you zoom in and see them in like a instant replay or something, they tend to show their holes. I was playing on the PS3 the other night, and from the pitching view, which is behind the pitcher facing the batting box, you can see in the Rogers Center the seats behind home plate. And there was this woman who got up and walked out of the camera frame, right? Presumably to go get a drink or go to the bathroom or something. But then she walks back in, sits down, stands up, walks out, comes back in, sits down, and just I sat there and watched her for like 5 minutes, and she wouldn't stop. She wouldn't stop doing it, kept doing it over and over again. I was like,
see, that woman always sits in front of me when I go to baseball games. It's annoying. Yeah. I'm glad she made the game.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing. And it's, you don't like to see that, but it's forgivable, I would say. That the crowd really doesn't make the game in the most parts. They do in the audio, which is something that has been drastically improved and is more so improved on the PS3 version. If you get a rally going, especially if it's a late game rally, the crowd will pick up their intensity to where it's nearly deafening. You can't even hear the crack of the bat sometimes because the crowd is just screaming their heads off, and that's really cool. I really appreciate little touches like that. If the ball rolls on the third baseline, it comes foul next to the seats. Fans will reach over the side and try to grab it. None of them ever do grab it, by the way. It'll go right through their head or something. But it's cool to see them reach over the side and try to get the ball. If the ball comes in foul somewhere, fans will try to bunch together to catch it, which is pretty cool. One of the biggest differences between the PS3 version and the Vita version is that there's significantly more dialogue when it comes to the color commentary. And unfortunately, it's not great dialogue. A lot of it's carried over from last year. It's not even re-recorded. It's just the same audio cues. They have a new guy in there. I don't even know who he is. But he just re-recorded a bunch of stuff that Matt Vasgersian said in the last game. So there really isn't much new dialogue, and unfortunately as well too, they're not really all that good at calling the plays consistently. I had Melky Cabrera camped under a fly ball in left field. He stood there for a few seconds and caught the ball. And then Matt Vasgersian comes on the color commentary and he goes, "Wow, he had to run in from left field. He caught it on the dead run." I was like, "I was camped under it for 5 seconds. What game are you watching?" So there's some weird discrepancies there. One of the biggest things that I don't like about what they did with this game is in the previous iterations of MLB The Show, when you would be in the game menus and you'd see all of your players on the roster and all that kind of stuff, they would have a picture that was taken by the MLB teams. The same one they use when the player goes up to bat and you see their screen or their face on the Jumbotron in real life. So that's what they had in the last game. In this game, they just used their in-game character models, which look horrendous when you're looking at them dead on in a menu. Some of the players don't even look like they're human, quite frankly. It is really, really odd. But, that's kind of a minor thing. Gameplay mechanics, I feel like the PS3 controller is a much tighter experience than the Vita. Obviously, there are more buttons. You have your thumbsticks are actually clickable buttons as well, too, so you can kind of control more of the finer tuning motions when you're fielding the ball. And when it comes to diving or stealing a base or canceling a run, there's more shoulder buttons to work with, which means that there's not as much guesswork when you're trying to steal a base or do any of that stuff. Overall, the game is really good. It's a not much of an improvement over the last one, but there wasn't really much to improve on. The game still works. It's not broken. There's a few minor things that are, kind of a pain in the ass, and unfortunately they show themselves more on the PS3 version than they do on the handheld, and I'm not quite sure why that is. But the game overall is a really, really strong effort. And I know that I've beaten this to, a completely dead, pulpy end, but it's a really fantastic baseball series, probably the best there ever has been. And if you're a baseball fan, you probably already picked this up, so you don't need me telling you, but it's a solid experience. And the game is I think it's $40 or something, or $50, I think. It's totally worth the price of admission. And they have this really cool thing now where you can actually get the ticker on the bottom of the screen will feed you live MLB score updates, which is really cool. So you can actually go and see who's on base and all that kind of stuff. So it's a really nice meta addition to the game. And I'm really enjoying it. I'll be talking about it for weeks. And if you love baseball, you need to go pick it up as well. But that is it. I can see the comments section in the friggin' chat room of people beaking me already. And that's okay. That's okay. Baseball isn't for anyone, man.
I had to mute my mic a couple times when I was laughing.
I heard you kind of laughing a little bit.
The comments have been coming fast and furious. It's been great.
That's okay. That's okay. And then the other thing this week. So Black Ops 2, probably something else that everyone's really excited to hear about. The Uprising DLC came out, 4 new maps and a new zombies map. So the new maps break down as you have Magma, which is like a Los Angeles kind of thing. And it's split apart by an earthquake, and there's a volcano, and there's lava around the side of the map and in the middle. It looks pretty cool, but I'm not a big fan of environmental deaths in a map where you just you're on a big kill streak and you just step one step too far to the left and lava kills you instantly. I think that's stupid, but it's you'd have to really go out of your way or make a big mistake to get killed by that kind of stuff. The other one is Magma. What shit? I should have wrote these down. Oh my god, I can't remember.
I'm absolutely no help on this, Jeff.
Yeah, hold on, let me check. I can't remember if it's not called Stadium, but it's almost exactly like that in from Black Ops 1. What the hell was it called? This is embarrassing. Okay, so there's Vertigo, which is like a high-rise building, and it has this ladder that comes down next to the B flag, and it's kind of a gamble on whether or not you're going to be able to jump and catch it every time. It looks like a pretty cool map, but a lot of it takes place inside next to the B flag, where most of the action takes place in the center of the map. People have been pretty okay with it. There is the remake of Firing Range from Black Ops 1, which is one of my favorite maps, maybe my favorite map from Black Ops 1, and it's called Encore. They basically reskin the map to make it like a Hollywood movie set, which is pretty cool. But the thing that a lot of people are kind of griping about, as we talked in the earlier show, people love to gripe all the time, is they're not a fan of they've taken away a lot of lines of sight. So in the original Black Ops, there were some lines of sight that you could essentially see from one end of the map to the other, and you could just camp in this little tiny spot and shoot down range and kill anybody who came around that corner, and they wouldn't even know where you were. Obviously, they fixed these so that the game and the map has a little bit more balance to it, which I think is a pretty fair way to go about it. It looks like it plays really well, and it looks like a fun map. And the reskinning is really cool, too. they've got like a dinosaur area, and they've got this. It's basically a big movie set, right? So there's like a saloon, and then there's a pirates area in the back, and then there's this alien invasion area on the side. It's actually really, really cool. And the last map, the one I couldn't remember for the life of me, is called Encore. And it's essentially this big kind of like grandstand rock stage thing, amphitheater type of thing. And it's a circle map, so you're constantly flanking, you're constantly running around the side. It looks pretty cool as well too, but it's been received very poorly by a lot of the videos I've watched. Most people in the Call of Duty community, as I'll use the air quotes on that one. They're okay with it, but it's really not the best map because it's so similar to Stadium from Black Ops 1. And then the biggest thing in this map pack is Mob of the Dead. So this is the first expansion to the Zombies platform in Black Ops 2. And it actually takes place inside of Alcatraz, which is a pretty cool thing. It's a massive, massive map, multi-tiered, multi-level map. And this is the first time in Zombies history where you can actually beat the game. So Zombies would just kind of count up until you died, and you could go to round 5,000 if you got that good. But in this one, you can, if you work together as a team, you can get to a section of the map that actually lets you escape the island and you win. I believe it takes some work. You're probably going to be playing at least 20 rounds before you get there. Another thing that happens inside of this DLC is that you can die and you can go into something called the afterlife, where certain areas of the map are now accessible, and you actually have to kill yourself by electrocuting yourself in a few areas of these maps so that you can float through a couple of walls and get to a secret area, unlock other doors for the rest of your team, and then you can come back to life later on.
That's weird. That doesn't make sense at all.
It doesn't make a lot of sense because it's a little bit weird to explain, but it kind of works. I've watched a ton of video of it because it really does look like it's a fun way to play the game, essentially. Like, you're not completely down and out when you die, but only if you get killed by a certain enemy type or if you kill yourself. So if a regular zombie kills you, you're dead and you're toast and that's it. But if you get killed by a certain zombie, and I can't remember which one it was, or you go to one of the you can get into an electric chair, or you can zap yourself. You can go to this afterlife mode where you're essentially a ghost, really. And it's kind of weird. There's also a ton of new weapons in this DLC. Or sorry, not in the DLC, but inside the Zombies map. There's some new perks and all that kind of stuff as well, too. And 1,500 points, 1,200 points was $15. Pretty steep, but they're all going to be that price. No weapon DLC in this one, unfortunately, just maps and zombies. But the characters you play as in Zombies are Michael Madsen. You play as Joe Pantoliano. You play as, Goodfellas. Ray Liotta, and then there's another guy you play as well. He's the guy who is always interviewing Kaiser Soze in the Usual Suspects, if you've ever seen that movie. I can't remember the actor's name, but you play as those characters as kind of like greaseball mob guys from the 30s. It's pretty interesting. But that's Black Ops 2 Uprising DLC, $15. I won't be picking it up because I just don't feel like the map packs are worth it anymore. The last one I felt like it was worth it because it had the Peacekeeper in it, which is a new gun, and that's something new that we haven't seen before. I don't think offering maps as DLC is going to quite cut it anymore. You have to introduce something new that isn't just a new place to kill people, because the game doesn't actually change, and that kind of bugs me. I don't know how you feel about that, Lloyd.
I don't play any of the stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't do online shoot. I just don't have the time anymore. We've said that a lot. I've talked about it a lot. I don't have the time to spend on first person shooters anymore, which kind of sucks because I really did enjoy my time playing first person shooters. But the thought of dumping $15 every month or so on a game that I've already paid $60 for is just like, really?
Yeah, it's about every 2 months.
Is it
2 to 3 months.
Is it that far? Was it like 6 weeks, every 6 weeks or something?
I don't think it's that soon, but
okay.
At 6 weeks, they'll basically start marketing for the next one.
Okay. But even then, it's like, I paid you $60 and I don't want to pay you any more money. So yeah, that's for me, that's That's just not what I want to do anymore. But I understand why people do it. A lot of people love the first person shooters, and they want to keep playing it.
Yeah, it certainly makes the game fresh. I mean, I had all the maps because I bought the season pass for Modern Warfare 3. So I had a ton of new maps come my way. It was like 15 or no, it was like 19 different pieces of DLC and content drops, which is pretty cool throughout the year. And it keeps the game fresh, but at the end of the day, you're playing the same game, and you don't get to use any new weapons or any new perks or anything like that. I would like it if Treyarch has come out and said that we're not doing any more weapon DLC, which is unfortunate. But with the Peacekeeper, they did a really good job of introducing a new weapon that you could only get if you paid for it, or if you kill someone in a lobby who has it and then you pick it up. And it didn't break the balance of the game. It was a really nice mix of mid to long range, mid to short range shooting from that gun, and it didn't unbalance the game in any way, which is, I think, a really tough thing to do in a game like Call of Duty. But we're not going to see anything like that anymore, which is unfortunate.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let's move on. I don't think we'll take a break here. We've already hit the hour mark for the show. Let's get into the news and start chatting about some newsy things.
Got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we're
a lot of good stuff too.
A lot of really great good stuff.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the Nintendo Direct that happened this week. We're not going to do a full rundown. I did the full rundown with Stephen Munn on the Nintendo Pulse episode 44. So if you want to hear everything that happened and our thoughts on it, go check it out at VGPodcasts.com. Check out
definitive version.
Exactly. Check out the audio for episode 44. It was a great show. But we'll hit some of the big ones. First up, Earthbound, one of the games that Nintendo said would never come back to North America, is now coming back to North America. It's coming out on the Virtual Console on the Wii U, and it will actually be coming out this year, which is pretty exciting because people have been asking for it for a long time. People have also been asking for Mother 3 for a long time, and maybe if this sells well, Nintendo will bring out a version of Mother 3 that's been translated for the English speakers, and that will come out as well. But I don't know. Other than that, that dream, at least we can play Earthbound on our Wii U's, which will be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate that you won't be able to play it on a 3DS.
Maybe down the road.
Like, that's true. Like, they haven't said that you can't.
Yeah, I don't believe the 3DS has any Super Nintendo games that are emulated on it yet.
Yeah, but maybe, like you said, maybe down the road. But it's cool that it is coming, because unless you're going to ROM a copy, which is pretty easy to do, or go out and spend $300-$500 buying a copy of the game. Yeah, they're really expensive.
We were talking on the podcast. It's probably cheaper to buy a Wii U and a virtual copy version of the game than it is to actually buy a copy of the cartridge on eBay.
Without a doubt.
Which is absolutely asinine.
PNP had a cartridge, and it was, what the hell was it? Oh shit. It was just over 200, like 225, I think. It was
probably just the bare cartridge.
It was just the bare cartridge. Yeah. Like, if you have it complete in box, first it was one of those big ones with the long box. It had the strategy guide inside. Yeah. Those are like $500-$600.
I mentioned on the show, I had the ability or the option to buy 4 new copies for like $20 a pop. Like a year or two after it hit, there was a video store that was closing down, and they were selling all of their games. They had sold some games new. They had stuff on display, and they had 4 copies of Earthbound because they thought it would be the next big thing. And I could have bought them all for like $20 a pop, and it's just like, no, it would have been cool to have, but I didn't even buy one of them, which was stupid. And yeah, sure enough, now I'm kind of kicking myself. Although, well, I mean,
I wouldn't have kept it. It's really hard to know if that game is going to be that crazy, right?
Totally.
I mean, you could have in another universe, you could have bought 4 copies of a game that would, net you 50 cents a piece or something. Nowadays.
Oh, totally. And you wouldn't have known it back then, but it was just one of those things where I really liked the game, and I should have bought more copies, but I didn't. So
Steven in the chat room is saying complete in box copies were selling over $800 on eBay.
Wow.
$800.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, so that's coming. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They right at the end of the conference, they dropped like the huge bomb on everybody that there is a new Zelda coming to the 3DS, which is like, duh. Of course. Why wouldn't it? But this is a direct sequel to The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, which is probably one of the best Zelda games. It's kind of tied. Ocarina of Time and this one are kind of tied up there in people's hearts for what is the best Zelda game of all time.
This one definitely, without getting on too much of a tangent, but the Link to the Past has been my favorite. I think it's such a fantastic game, art style and everything, and really, really cool.
Yeah, it's so much fun. And so they had a journalist event after, so people could come and check out some of the stuff. And one of the games was actually this new Zelda game. They're calling it Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past 2. They don't have an official name for it yet. It won't be that, but it will be that, I guess. It'll be some other name or whatever, but they played it, and people recorded some video, and it looks like you're playing in the same world, but the game is now 3D, so you're a 3D sprite running in a 3D world instead of a 2D pixelated sprite running in a 2D pixelated world. So it's interesting. It got me really excited for playing this game. I want to see what they're going to do with it. They have a new mechanic in it where you can basically become a wall painting. So you can basically go up against a wall and turn into like a drawing on the wall, and then you can kind of go through windows really cool. And things like that, which is just going to add a new layer of like puzzle solving and stuff to the game. But I really, really dig it. I dig what they've shown. There's a video that you can download if you have a 3DS from the eShop that kind of gives you a 3D version of what the game's going to look like. It looks amazing,
especially when you're jumping up or being shot up through things. Like the depth that's verticality is really interesting.
Yeah, there's these little things with smiley faces, and you hit them with a hammer, and then they bounce you up. And it looks so good. And the best part, it's coming this year. It's coming holiday of this year.
Yeah.
So the game
is probably... people were really like shocked to be like, oh, I can't believe they let us play it.
I can't believe
it's a big thing.
I can't believe that it's coming out this year, because Nintendo announces a game and then it doesn't ship for it either. It either ships the next week or it doesn't ship for 3 years. Like they're really bizarre in the way that they announce things. But yeah, this one is coming in by holiday, so probably by October, November, we'll have a new Link to the Past to play on our 3DS. I'm so excited for that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very good year for the 3DS.
Oh yeah,
their Nintendo lineup is insane, absolutely insane, and this will come into consideration when we talk about a story in a few minutes here about. Is the 3DS just such a juggernaut that, the Wii U can't get any ground? So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And that's something that's definitely going to play into it.
For sure. Some other things they talked about quickly. They announced that the Animal Crossing New Leaf game will be coming out on June 9th, I believe it is. But it's going to be coming as part of a 3DS XL bundle if you want. So the 3DS XL with the great little Animal Crossing New Leaf pattern. It's a white 3DS XL with these nice leaves and other things on it. That'll be coming to North America as well. It had been announced in the UK or leaked in the UK. It looks like it is coming for sure in North America as well. It'll be like $220 for the 3DS XL bundled with a version of New Leaf, which is pretty cool. They also said, since this was a 3DS Nintendo Direct, but they talked about the Wii U a little bit, they said that the spring update will be hitting next week. So that's that update that speeds up load time. So exiting from a game and going back to the main menu takes seconds instead of like 30 or 40 seconds, like the video that they showed. So that's cool. It also does some things like allows for background downloads. So you can start a download and it will install while you're playing a game, which is pretty cool. And some other things on it as well. So that's pretty awesome. That'll be coming next week. And then shortly, the next day, the day after the update hits, they're announcing the Wii U Virtual Console. So we'll now be able to play Virtual Console games on our Wii U. I mean, you already can if you buy them for 30 cents, but there'll actually be a Virtual Console service on the Wii U eShop, which will be great.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a tough year for the Wii U. I think that's unfortunate because it is such an interesting console. But yeah, you know what, they've had a troubled launch, and I think a lot of it has to do with not a lot of people know what the hell the Wii U is. You know, they're like, is it just the Wii Point 5? They don't really see it as a successor. I've been reading articles on IGN lately, and I can't remember who they were interviewing, but the guy was a big distributor in the States, and they were basically saying that nobody really knows what the hell it is. You know, the marketing in the United States has been so poor for this thing that the Wii is still selling, and the Wii U is, you know, barely keeping up, which
people
is
think it's
really
an add-on.
Unfortunate. Yeah,
they think it's an add-on. Like calling it the Wii U was the stupidest thing that they ever could have done. They could have called it the Wii 2. That means that it's a sequel. They could have called it the Revolution. They could have called it other things. Like it's the name. As soon as they announced the name, like we talked about it. It must have been These Dudes on Games, or maybe it was one of our special events where we covered the press announcements or whatever. The first thing I said is like the name is a mistake. The fact that the screen isn't multi-touch is a mistake. The fact that it's current gen graphics is a mistake. Like all the stuff that people are kind of down on it now for, we talked about way early on. And yeah, I don't know. It's bizarre.
Yeah, so we might as well get into the next story, and that is Kotaku. One of their writers, Patricia Hernandez. I read a lot of her articles. She's actually a really, really great writer. She wrote an article. It's a really, really great long article. If you have a chance to read it, if you're listening to this on the podcast, I'm sure it'll be in the show notes. I'll share it in the chat room right now for anybody who wants to read it. But her argument is the Wii U's biggest problem the 3DS? And I actually think that's a pretty fair kind of assessment of why the Wii U is doing so poorly. You have this handheld, which is extremely cheap, has revolutionary technology. Whether or not you like 3D or not is completely your choice. You can turn it on or off, which actually turned out to be a fantastic addition to the device, is the ability to, like, if I don't want 3D, I don't have to have it. I thought that was stupid at the beginning, but now I think it's a really great little toggle switch. And the fact that the 3DS has such an insane library now, and it keeps getting better and better. I believe in Nintendo Direct, didn't they say it was like 16 Nintendo games are coming out for the 3DS this year?
Yeah, it's something like that. There's a huge number.
And then you've got to bank on a certain amount of AAA titles coming out as well too. So there's a big market for this handheld device, and the Wii U. What does the Wii U have? You know, like, can you tell me a game that makes you want to buy it?
I read the article, or I read part of the article, and yeah, I kind of agree with some of the ideas in it, but I don't really think the 3DS is what's killing the Wii U, because the 3DS is a portable system, the Wii U is a console. I think what's killing the Wii U is the fact that it's called the Wii U, the fact that no one knows what it is, the fact that I told the story a little while ago. I was in Best Buy or Future Shop, I can't remember which one it is now, and people are asking what this Wii U thing is, and like, no, we already have a Wii, we don't need the add-on thing. And it's like, no, it's a different console. No, it's just an add-on to it. And
they think it's like the Xbox Connect.
Yeah, like they don't know what it is. Like, calling it the Wii U was the stupidest thing they could have done. It seems like it's like the Wii balance board. It's like this add-on to the system, not the fact that it's its own system. They should have called it the Wii 2. They could still rename it. Go ahead, Nintendo, rename it, call it the Wii U or Wii 2 or something else. Rename it, set this course or this ship back on the right course, because it's kind of getting away from them. The fact that the 3DS is doing so well, we were chatting in the chat room, like the 3DS used to be the Wii U. It was dead in the water. Yeah. People are like, why should we want that? It's too expensive, blah, blah, blah. Then Nintendo dropped the price and announced all these awesome games. And next thing you know, it's probably one of the best things to own. Like, if you are someone and you can only own one piece of equipment, the 3DS is a pretty good choice. I mean, the games are cheaper. There's a lot of games. You can take it with you wherever you want. There's
backwards compatible to the amazing DS library.
Totally. It might be a better thing to own than, say, a 360 or a PlayStation 3 or a Vita. Like, it's this kind of perfect little ecosystem right now.
It's definitely way better than the Vita. I think that's a certainty.
Exactly. But it's like, I mean, with the cheapness of games and all that stuff, and the portability, like it's a compelling little thing. The Wii U, it's expensive. Games are expensive. Like they raised the price of the system, and then they started charging the same amount as Xbox and Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 games for their games. And it's like, okay, well, what happens when the next generation happens? Are you going to drop your prices, Nintendo? Because I'm not going to pay $60 for a title on the Wii U and $60 for a better looking title on the PlayStation 3. I would just, or the PlayStation 4 rather. I'd rather just buy the PlayStation 4. And a lot of people are going to have that same sort of thought process when they start thinking about what systems they're going to own. Nintendo doesn't have a very long time to set this thing back on the right course, because with the new consoles coming out, they're kind of screwed. I mean, Nintendo fixed their problems before the Vita came out, and they did it because the Vita was coming out, and Nintendo needs to do a lot of stuff because PlayStation 4 and then the next Xbox, whatever it's going to be called, are coming this year, and they are going to stomp all over the Wii U in its current iteration, what it is now.
Yeah, the console race, and I hate saying the console race, because it's it's such a weird thing to even argue about what that means and how to gauge it. But the console race is going to start, more or less this year when those two other consoles come out. Nintendo did release theirs last year, and since then it's kind of the same it's been at launch, which is eerily similar to the way that the 3DS launched. So maybe it's a part of some real backward strategy at Nintendo to launch with very low expectations and to then not hit those, and then all of a sudden we're like, yeah, let's change entirely and take a hit. I don't know what's going through their head. Again, like Lloyd and I, when we reviewed the Wii U as a console, we didn't really have anything negative to say about it. It's a really interesting piece of hardware, but I think the appeal of developing for the 720 and the PS4 for developers and having that significantly broader market to pitch a game to is going to win over interesting technology more often than not. And that's going to hurt the impact that the Wii U could have, which is unfortunate because it is a very interesting system. I also think that the Wii U's handling and Nintendo's handling of online multiplayer, could be a ton better. I think it's admirable from what Nintendo is and their past with online multiplayer, but PSN is way better. Obviously, Xbox Live is way better. Steam is way better, and to certain extents, other services as well too are better. It's going to be a very big uphill battle for Nintendo, and quite frankly, I really hope that they come through, because if not, then they're going to be in a position where they're going to have to make some really tough choices, and Wii U owners might end up getting a shaft, which is what could be really, really bad.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think, like, realistically, if Nintendo at E3 announces a huge price drop, announces a whole bunch of things like the unification of accounts, the ability to take your username from one console to another, the ability to download games on your 3DS or your Wii U at the same time. So this like $299 system now becomes a $249 for the deluxe version.
There was another thing was bringing out that core console to begin with was a complete joke. Why even have that as an option?
Because they wanted to hit the price point is what it was. It's so stupid. So sell it for $250. It's the deluxe edition. It comes with a game. It gives you all the functionality. They unify some stuff. It now has the virtual console. It now has a whole bunch of other things going for it. But even then, I mean, it's last gen technology that's going to be competing head on with new gen technology. I don't know what they can do, man. I wouldn't want to be like someone that's in charge of anything at Nintendo right now, because I think your job will be potentially on the line in the near future if this doesn't go better than it is going right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And, we talk about on the show all the time that graphics don't make the experience. They certainly help the experience for sure, but they're not the only thing that comes into play. But we're coming at it from a certainly more pragmatic viewpoint, because we're trying to be critical of games and what else they bring to the table other than pretty graphics. A big majority of the public audience of video games, the people who are going to spend their money, will certainly want to have the console that boasts the best graphics. That's going to be a selling feature, regardless of if we think it is of merit or not. It's going to be something that sells consoles. PS4 is going to be like, we have the best graphics that you can possibly get, and our developers are going to take advantage of that. That is going to sell consoles. For Nintendo to come there and then say, we have admirable graphics for a few years ago, that's not going to be good enough, which is unfortunate because I still believe that some really great games are going to be on that platform. But it's going to be interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just chatting with the chat room. We're talking about the Wii and how well it did. Yeah, it's bizarre. Nintendo has some work to do. But anyway, let's get off the Nintendo Wii U. We seem to bitch about the Wii U every single episode, so let's stop that.
Yeah, we haven't really bitched about the Xbox, and I've got a lot that I really don't like about that console. So you know what? Eventually, we'll come full circle, and we'll have bitched about all the big three in their perspective or in their respective consoles. Because I feel like we rag on Sony a lot, and I know Trevor's in the corner crying while he listens to the show. So we have to make sure that we give him some Xbox bashing.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll jump on that, and then we'll do Sony next. And Trevor won't listen to that episode.
We'll go back to Sony
again. Cool. Let's move on. Bioshock Infinite. We'll have a couple things to say about it. The first up is some industry analysts are saying that Bioshock Infinite is on track to sell 4.5 million units in its first year, which is pretty darn good. The financial services group Cowen and Company has said that Bioshock Infinite has sold 878,000 units during its first month of release. So,
is this just in North America?
In North America, yes.
That's very, very big.
They've already, I guess. We have numbers for the UK, but these are North American numbers. It was a top-selling game for March in the US, and which is funny because it only came out on the 26th. So it's pretty damn good, doing pretty damn good, which is really good. So I wanted to mention that really quick. Is just kind of a, hey, this is a good game and people like it. But then we have another story. It appears that some people have successfully returned the game because of its the way the game starts off with a forced baptism. And that's a bit of a spoiler, but it's not really that much of a spoiler.
It's in actually a lot of the trailers.
Exactly. So you basically start the game, you go to the lighthouse, you go up, you go to the thing, you get up, and then you're forced into a baptism. And then when you come out, you're reborn into Colombia. Someone said that I don't want to say the guy's name. You can read the article if you want. I don't want to shame him anymore or have any more internet hate, because I've read some really interesting things online about this person.
That guy's been getting it, unfortunately.
He has. He's a gamer. He's a Christian, and he's saying that that he is. It was against his religious beliefs to be baptized because he was already baptized, I guess, is what his argument was. I kind of my interest in the story kind of fell apart after that, because my next thought is, well, you have a problem with a forced baptism in the game, but you don't have a problem in killing thousands of dudes in the game.
That's very Christian.
I mean,
it's very Christian.
Yeah. So really, really bizarre.
It's such a bizarre
And we're
story.
not going to get into religious debate on the show because we've already had a problem, Jeff, with that once before.
Oh man.
And Quacko's in the chat room right now, so you guys can have it out. But it's so weird where some people take such a strong stance on this. And it's like, but dude, you're killing 10,000 people in the game. That should be against everybody's religion if you're using it for a religious, if there's some sort of religious problem with a game, it should be the killing of innocents or even non-innocents.
It's a very, very bizarre stance. And part of me wants to think that the guy is just trolling us and saying, hey, because he actually gave back the game that they took that as a legitimate reason, And that is baffling to me that I mean, it's just so unbelievable. And I guess if it conflicts, I said that weird, but if it conflicts with your religious beliefs that much, just don't play it, I mean, go back to the store and sell it. I don't believe you're entitled to a full refund because of that. That is outrageous.
It's like if you went to watch a movie and something happens in the movie that's against your religion. Do you go and ask for your money back?
If you're an asshole, you do.
Well, I guess so. I guess I'm not crazy religious, so maybe I'm not the person to be commenting on this.
Yeah, I mean,
As to
I'm obviously not either. Yeah.
um and maybe people do have problems with it, but it's just like you're buying games to live out another reality, and this is existing another reality. It's not you, it's the character in the game that is going through this. You, the person, are not jumping into the game and living out this fantasy. It's not like we're not living in Star Trek. This isn't the holodeck. This is you watching a narrative play out that you are in control of, but you are not the person having this stuff done to it. So
it's a very, very bizarre story.
Yeah, it kind of gets to me a little bit. It's just like I shake my head and do a little bit of face palm, and then I go about the rest of my business because I
believe now they're reprinting the covers for Bioshock Infinite, and on the back it's going to say rated M for mature for violence, graphic, whatever,
and baptism.
Forced baptism and language or
multiple
something,
times.
Just so that people, I don't think that the company needed, it should warrant some sort of warning at the beginning. They're like, by the way, this could offend everyone if you're that sensitive.
Well, the game deals in religion and racism and murder. Like there's anything that could be a hot button topic to some group of people is in this game. And yeah, anyway, whatever. The dude that complained got his money back, so there you go.
I didn't mind whipping the baseball at the interracial couple, but as soon as I was forced to have a baptism, that's where I drew the line.
And chopping off the guy's face, yeah, that was fine. That was fine. Yeah.
He had it coming.
Anyway,
he took the baseball
crazy.
out of my hand.
One of those things that only happened. It's like people bitching about the Mass Effect ending and other things. Just like arguments that I can't even begin to understand because I am so do not have any fracks to care.
You know what? I almost, if we're going to compare those two, I would far more hear about the people who are complaining about the Mass Effect ending than this guy.
I do not give a care.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to swear on the show too much. So I have no fucks to give about this. So I will not at all. So anyway, moving on. The dude complained, got his money back. Yay. Internet. Let's move on. It was announced this week that Skyrim is now dead. It is completed. Its development cycle has been closed. The loop has been tied off. They are saying farewell to Skyrim. Bethesda has basically said that there'll be no more official expansions or anything else. They'll have patches if something like critical comes up, but they have moved on to bigger and better things. So pour one out for your fallen Dovahkiin, and understand that Skyrim has come to an end. Just in time for them to come out with the the Legendary Edition that has every single thing about Skyrim bundled into one disc, which would be a good thing for everybody to pick up.
Yeah, that's going to be a great disc for people who have not gotten into that world. Like, talk about just starting a game and, the end result is I've spent 500 hours in this world and there's still things for me to do, It's funny because when I read the story early in the week, I was like, what? Like, that sucks. We were just, a few months after Dragonborn was released and, both Lloyd and I really, really enjoyed that. It was a fantastic piece of DLC.
Yeah.
And then I realized, wait a minute, Skyrim's been out for like a year and a half.
Yeah, it's been out for a while.
That like blew me away. That
it came out in 2011, and it's like, what, really? And sure enough,
that blows my mind because I'm still so into that game. Like there's so much I have left to do.
Yep.
And then when I step back, a year and a half, that's actually a pretty long development cycle. I think we can let these guys off the hook now. Obviously I would love for there to be something else, but Dragonborn was a really nice kind of finale, and there's still a ton to do in the world and just kind of screw around. If you have it on PC, obviously you could live forever on mods. So
yeah, like the dude that made it photorealistic by having like 70 different mods running at the same time, and it looks like a CG scene that has been like rendered.
Yeah, like you're walking through a live action video or something. It's weird.
It's crazy. So yeah, Skyrim is done, but long live Skyrim. There's still lots to do, and hopefully Bethesda has some really good things to announce in the future. In the chat room, someone who didn't give a name when they signed in, so I'll reference him or her as VGP_0134 because that's the only thing I can reference them by. Says, "Bring on Fallout 4," and yes, I agree. Yeah. That would be awesome.
I still have New Vegas on my shelf there. It's a game I'll probably never get rid of.
Yeah, it's a good game. It's a very, very good game. So Skyrim's dead, but hopefully we have a lot more adventures coming our way from Bethesda.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
okay, exactly. This came out today. I saw this this morning after I got back from running some errands, and every once in a while, a video game trailer will come out, and it'll be just so unbelievably off the wall that you have to like stand up and walk around and be like, "What the hell did I just watch?" And this was absolutely one of them. I don't know if you actually watched the trailer, Lloyd. Did you?
no.
No, you didn't? Okay.
No.
It is the most grotesque, disgusting, bloody, awesome video game teaser trailers I've ever seen in my life. It's all live action footage. There's no gameplay. There's no mention of a story or any kind of plot or anything like that, or what character you play. But it's just a bunch of really effed up imagery. A guy's making barbed wire and his hands are all raw because he's been cut up all the time. And there's some weird like guy with a bunch of glass stuck in his skin and he's freaking out. And there's the girl covered entirely in blood and she's got like 4 arms and she's crawling all over the place. It's absolutely off the wall. This game is called The Evil Within. The debut trailer came out today. You can check it out on IGN. It's all over the place. I'm sure if you type it into YouTube, it's on there by now as well too. But it's spearheaded by Resident Evil creator Shinji Mikami. So I know that there's some Resident Evil fans out there. I believe Trevor's one of them. Yeah, he reviewed Resident Evil 6 with us on the show.
That's right.
So this is really interesting to me because I knew he was working on a game with Bethesda for a while, but I haven't heard anything about it. Granted, we have no idea what the game's about, or where it takes place, or anything about it other than this trailer. But from this trailer, it looks pretty effed up, and I'm really, really excited to check this game out. And the fact that it's being worked on, and produced by Bethesda says to me that there is. I don't want to read too much into a trailer that shows nothing at all about the gameplay, but I'm hoping that there's some sort of open world aspect to what appears to be a really hardcore survival horror game. So I'm very excited. Check out the trailer because it's definitely not safe for work, by the way, if you are listening to this at work. It's not a trailer you can watch and risk your boss looking over your shoulder and go, "What the hell are you doing?" It's not a trailer like that. So watch it at home. Keep it away from your kids because it's pretty hardcore for a video game teaser trailer anyway. So I'm really excited that The Evil Within Shinji Mikami joint. It's going to be rad.
Yeah, looks like it could be very interesting. To say the least. All right, moving on. Let's get into something that's really bizarre. I saw this originally a little while ago, and then I saw it kind of explode all over all the different gaming websites. And that is a dude who made a game called Black Annex, and it's recently been greenlit on Steam. So it'll be coming to Steam, which is pretty cool. It's going to be sold on Steam. That's pretty cool. The game is made in QBASIC. So that might not mean much to Jeff. Jeff is just kind of like blindly nodding.
I know it's a coding language.
It is, and it came with Windows PCs when DOS was still around. So do you remember Gorillas and Nibbles? I do actually. Those are written in QBASIC.
Okay, so that's old school.
It's as kind of, I don't know, old school as you can kind of get. It's interpretive language. It's not a compiled language. So when you make a game, you don't compile it to an exe. You load the BAS file for the basic code file, and then you hit run, and it runs the basic game. And I remember like way back writing small games in BASIC and trading them with my friends, and that was great. Of course, computers are a lot faster now than they were, but this game essentially will require you to take the .bas file, load it into your version of QBASIC or an emulated version running in DOSBox, and then hit run. And you'll be playing this game called Black Annex, which is like, it's almost like a Crusader No Remorse or an XCOM kind of game. And the reason why he did it is because he's written games like way back in his life in QBASIC. And when he got the urge to write a game now, he's like, well, I don't want to learn a new language. I would rather spend the time figuring out how to better do things in a language that I know. So he wrote this game in QBASIC, which just doesn't seem like it could actually even work. But
it looks pretty cool though.
Yeah, it looks really good. He basically he didn't want to use DirectX, he didn't want to use OpenGL, he didn't want to use like the Unity or Unreal. He just basically made a game that is directly writing to the screen and doing all sorts of crazy things. So it's going to be available later this year. But yeah, damn, that is just so bizarre. I don't understand how this even exists. And it's like a 36,000 line basic file that he's going to send you when you buy the game, and then you run it in whatever like DOSBox emulator that you have, or whatever interpreter that you have for QBASIC.
Are you going to pick it up, you think?
No, not at all. Not really interested, but it's cool. And I'm really interested to see what kind of comes from it. But yeah, it's really bizarre. Really bizarre. So yeah, that's it. Nothing else to add.
Well, I don't really know much about it. I think it looks cool. I read the article and I was like, it sounds like this guy is just a stubborn guy who didn't really want to learn anything new. And he's like, instead, I'll refine a technology that is 25 years old. Yeah, go ahead. Why not? Right. That kind of stuff actually would probably, as it has, get him way more press if, he did it this way than if he just tried to make a game that looked like it was made in this, in this year, which, might have been like his plan from the beginning. Who else is doing this? Him. Yeah, so it's kind of,
he's the guy. He
backwards revolutionary.
He could be the king of QBASIC.
Yeah.
We'll get him a crown. Yeah. In 20,000 lines of code, and we'll draw it on the screen.
Exactly.
So yeah, anyway, that's enough of that. That's just a little kind of geeky, bizarre thing that just kind of made me go, that's weird. And sure enough, it is. Last but least, I guess, because it is tiny. The Pebble watch, mine still hasn't shipped. I should be getting it within the next month, I think. I think I'll finally have a Pebble on my wrist, which I'm super excited for.
Nice.
That's the smartwatch that binds to your iPhone or Android phone, and you get notifications and things on it. They released an SDK to create watch faces, and some dude used that SDK to create a clone of Tetris. So you can basically, instead of having a watch face, you can actually play Tetris with the buttons on the Pebble. On this little device. So I'm mentioning it here because it's pretty cool. People will hack anything on anything, and this is one of the things that they did. They hacked a version. It's not really a hack, I guess. They wrote a version of Tetris to run on their little smartwatch. I'm
always curious as to what the appeal of doing something like this is, and quite frankly,
it can be done
because they can, right?
Yeah, but that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's interesting, to say the least. It's weird that somebody spent their time doing that, but it probably didn't take them very long.
I don't know. Tetris isn't a rudimentary thing, especially when you're writing it as a watch face. But yeah, it probably didn't take super long. It's a very low resolution screen. But yeah, it looks like Game Boy Tetris, and you're running it on your watch. It's just pretty cool. When I get my watch, I will download it to check it out.
Yeah, we'll have the official bonus stage review of Pebble Watch Tetris.
Yeah, for sure. And then I will delete it because I will never play it ever again. But it's kind of neat. I really wish my watch would ship. I really want my watch. I wish I could get it.
Those things are pretty awesome, man.
And my wife picked the color white because we both got watches. So hers probably won't ship for another 2 months. And I was like, do you want to switch to black? They'll ship it. And she's like, no, I kind of want my white. So I'm going to get my black one because I switched from gray to black, and she'll be sitting there and not having a Pebble watch and being all upset. So I might actually lose my watch partway through.
The only thing I don't like about the watch design is that it's rubber. And I'm not a fan of rubber bands on the watch.
You can replace the band.
You can replace it. Okay.
It'll fit any standard watch band. So if you if you have like a leather watch band that you like, you can just pop it right on it, and you'll be good to go.
I'm a big fan of the metal links, but I think that would probably look really weird with this big black watch face.
Unless you got like an anodized aluminum one that was black, so it would kind of fit with the look. It would that would look pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's a really weird bonus stage for you guys this week. We kind of covered a little of everything, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let us know what you think. Head on over to VGPodcasts.com, click contact us at the top of the page to send us an email. You can click forums there to join our forums. Pro tip, all of the comment fields on the site are actually linked to the forum. So if you want to comment on a post, if you want to say, Jeff, do not talk about MLB The Show ever on the show again. You would comment on that, but you do that by joining the forums. You can do it by creating an account or just signing in quickly with your Facebook or Steven in the chat room says or COD as well. You can sign in by creating an account or signing in really quickly by using your Twitter or Facebook account through OAuth. So we don't get any of that stuff. It's just a link that you make, and then you can revoke access if you don't ever want to log in again. But it's just an easier way to do it. You don't have to remember another username and password. Do that. Chat with us. We'd love to hear from you guys. You can email us directly, vgpodcast@gmail.com, or you can call our voicemail line, which is area code 505 VG Podcasts. So, Jeff, thanks again, man, for joining me for yet another week of the bonus stage. This is a good one.
It was a good one.
And
it was a good one.
And
the next one, it's going to be a roll the dice, but we'll try to make it entertaining for you guys.
We'll say that it's going to be terrible, and then we can only do better than that. So that's going to be a good thing.
How Nintendo should have handled their Wii launch.
Yes, exactly. All right, guys. Until next week, take it easy. Hopefully, y'all have a new game to play and review next week. I really wish Lego City came out today because I really kind of want to play it right now. I don't know if I can wait 24 hours, but I kind of got stuff.
Like I don't get it when people say I don't know if I could. What are you gonna do? Kill yourself? Like what the hell does that even mean? I don't know if I can wait.
No,
the only thing you can do is wait.
No, I could self-medicate myself into like a drunken stupor, so I don't remember the last 24 hours, and then I'd wake up drunk and hungover, and then it was like, oh yeah, I gotta download the game. I could do that. That is possible. It's one of those things.
All right.
You never know. All right, guys, take it easy. We'll talk to you next week, and keep playing those games. We love to chat with you about them. Let us know what you like to play, and we'll talk about it. Later, guys.
Let's get started.